Hey guys, welcome to EDM Masters X6 F16 model, 450 horsepower, 650 Newton meters of torque. It has 20-inch wheels. The shape inside doesn't feel that it has this much space for you as a driver.
Uphill feels like it's on rails.
It's on rails, yeah. If you look at the thing, it looks like that. Let's check this out. Here I have the key.
Full throttle down. 14, 16, 17.
Hey guys, welcome to EDM Masters. My name is Luca and I would like to introduce you to this F16 X6 50i with an M Sports package. Stats wise, this car has a 4.4 liter V8 with 450 horsepower, 650 Newton meters of torque. It weighs a hell of 2.2, 2.3 tons, depending on how much gas you have in it, of course. So even though this thing is a SUV coupe and weighs over 2.2 tons, this thing is ridiculously fast. Of course, it's packed with an M Sports package. Of course, you have to have it if you have a BMW. No, otherwise you have a real BMW, you know. It has the xDrive, which means all-wheel drive system by BMW, and the 50i stands for the 4.4 liter V8 in it. So it does 0 to 100 kilometers in 4.8 seconds, and from 0 to 200 it does that around 14.9 seconds around, yeah. Japanese car market, they were only made 3 models for the F16, which were an xDrive 35i, the 50i, which I have here, and the X6M. The 35i had a V6, and the other ones have a 4.4 liter V8 in it, as this has also. If you look at the thing, it looks like that. It is big, it is massive, but it's a coupe-sized version. So BMW, when they introduced this, they were actually one of the first makers. They introduced a SUV coupe. The X6 was sold really often in Germany and in European markets as well. So, of course, in Japan, where we are right now, they got also interested into this kind of shape, design, SUV style, you know, because it looks a bit more sportive. What kind of customer would buy such a car? This car isn't really practical. I mean, the trunk is still big for an SUV, but still it's an SUV coupe, so you have to have the downsides of the trunk getting lowered here. You have to see the lines here. Of course, it's big by the size, but in the inside it feels a bit tiny, you have to say. It feels really tiny because it tries to be a coupe in an SUV outside shape. That is the whole point of the thing. So I'm gonna have the key here, and you can open the trunk just by pressing the key, so everything automatically.
It's a big ledge, and it's not really practical if you want to put a box inside or so. You have to get it up really high and then put it in, and you might scratch your exterior quite a lot then this time. You can put the seats down, then it might look a bit better, and you have way more space. So this is then the full trunk you got. It doesn't fully flat out, of course, but you could fit a couple of skis or so into it quite well. So there will be no problem if you take it on vacation or so.
It's actually a pretty good example for the Japanese market, because Japanese customers who like European cars usually buy cars that are fully specced out. If you look at the interior, this car is luxurious, leather stitching everywhere, the BMW iConnect drive system, leather steering wheel, really big one with an M badge on it. Has many different modes. You have the Harman Kardon sound system, vented seats, so it has everything you would need in a luxury car. The shape inside doesn't feel that it has this much space for you as a driver. Of course, it feels luxurious. The seat is really ergonomic. You can make many different changes to it. It is a really high spec car, and a really on the top line it is high price car also for BMW. But the thing is that if you sit inside it, you have the same and similar features that for example 3 Series BMW would also have. So of course it's always the option packaging that you can choose. This is the point where the car doesn't come close to its actual high class standard of a proper luxury SUV.
So yeah guys, now we're taking it on the test drive. Tell you how it feels, the car as an SUV with such a heavy engine, such a heavy car on the small roads in Japan here, in Hakone, which are usually famous for fast driving, small corners, small cornered roads, really scenic drive actually also. I just want to tell you how the car feels in general. So it is really heavy, of course. We're now in comfort mode. This car has different modes, so it has a comfort mode, an eco pro mode, a sport mode, and a sport plus mode, in which the traction control gets automatically shut off. So there are not many cars these days which have an actual traction control that you can still shut off just by pressing one button. I just press a button, and now you can see, if you go now into the sports mode, so the display will change color, a bit of a red kind of style on it, and you can also put the gearbox into S, and you have the shifting pedals also as well, so you can shift down by yourself. So now manually shifting by the small road down here. So I'm gonna give it a pull. I'm gonna shift down once, then give it a small pull, and you can feel once the V8 kicks in, you go straight fast. And this car makes it so easy to drive fast because it's so comfortable. You don't feel any curb or any knob in the street. It is even around this corner, you know. We're going 80 kilometers per hour now around this corner, and it feels really safe. Pull it once, really quick. Braking with this heavy car, also really good, really impressive. You don't feel unsecure. You feel really secure about it, even with this heavy car, you know. I mean, these are not the proper M brakes, but still, for most sporty driving, it is fully okay. So far, downsides to this. So the cons of this whole concept is, of course, small corners. The car is long. The car is really long. The car is heavy. So in small corners, you will feel that, and especially if you're going uphill, you will feel the weight. You will feel in the corners. You will feel the weight distribution if it turns you to the side. The grip level of this car is amazing because of its X-Drive all-wheel drive system. It does a really amazing job. Yesterday we took it in for a test, and also in the rain up those small roads, and it was really doing a really good job. So pretty impressive. Steering wise, this car feels a bit wobbly in my personal opinion. It is not really responsive to steering, but this might be also the gap they try to close when it comes to being comfortable and being luxurious on the other side and sporty, you know. We're gonna talk a bit about the engine now. So I'm gonna rev this engine up, and we are going into the sport mode. I'm gonna go into sport plus. So sport plus means that there is also now the traction control off. Then you have a sport display which shows us the torque and the power. I'm gonna take the numbers and just full throttle down. 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. The engine is pretty responsive, but not as responsive as the V6, for example, in the newer X4 M40i, which is one of the best engines actually, in my personal preference, from BMW made.
Feels like it's on rails.
It's on rails.
Yeah, it feels like it's on rails.
Even though here it's a bit bumpy.
Yeah, it absorbs all of the bumps, keeping the car level and stable.
Yeah. For an SUV, this might be sportier than a normal SUV because it's an SUV coupe, and aerodynamics wise, it does a better job, I guess, than a normal SUV, of course, because it has the coupe shape at the end. But the weight of this car is just too heavy and too big to call it a sports car in the end. It is just a really luxurious, sporty car, I would say. It makes a lot of fun, of course. Look at these corners, like, you can take them pretty fast. If this car is driven smoothly enough, you can keep up easily with other sport cars in general. So usually on these roads here in Japan, the people drive small, low cars, mostly coupes or roadsters, which have a low point of gravity, which can get around those small corners easily. But if you have like longer straights like this straight, of course, they won't have a chance. You can go easily straight fast. So, here you see a G-Wagon, so also very famous in Japan actually. Many people buy the G-Wagon, and I think this comes into the same category as the G-Wagon, because of its size and shape, and people like this car. People like the luxurious style of it. People like European cars in Japan, and I think this car is a perfect example for this also.
So as you can hear, we took it for a proper test drive. The vents are revving up a bit, and I want to go give you a quick conclusion about the car and who actually would fit this. If you want a car that is practical, that you can fit maybe up to 7 persons in it, I would rather get a really bigger SUV and not an X6. The X5, for example, the X3, these are cars that meant to be a utility vehicle, which may be sportive as well. This car is try to fill this gap between an SUV and a more sporty coupe also. But for those who cannot decide if they want a coupe, like a 4-seaters or so, this car is perfectly. To wrap things up, this car isn't made for everybody. For example, let's take Japan as a country for this car as well. People can maybe only afford one car. They would like to have a sporty car and looking for a coupe, but on the other hand, they also want a car that's a bit more practical, a bit more utility-wise vehicle, you know. And so this might be the car for you. In my personal opinion, I would never buy such a car because the shape of it, of course, it looks cool, it looks sporty, but the problem is it is just not worth its money, I think. If you want a pure driving experience, especially on those small and Touge roads, you get, for example, a 2 Series or a Z4, or for example, get a Supra. You will have definitely more fun, a pure driving experience, you will feel the street more, you will feel the car more, and have more fun, especially around those small corners, you know. This car is just too heavy for those streets, and I mean the V8, it has a lot of power on the straights. You can keep up easily with all the small cars and all the sport cars easily, but still this car is not meant to be driven here. It's meant to be on the highway, to be straight 250 kilometers per hour, being luxurious and taking you to your holiday vacation with the family maybe also, and looking a bit more sportive. I hope you enjoyed this small wrap-up and video about the X6. I hope I can show you some other cars and compare it also to the X6 in the near future. Thank you for watching and have a good day.